This is a video for people who suffer from test anxiety. I'm Dan Willingham. I'm a professor who studies human learning. I want to focus in particular on spiraling thoughts. That's where something small happens and your anxiety blows it up into something huge in your mind. So you're taking a test, there's a few questions in a row that you don't know the answer to, and from that you conclude, I'm probably going to fail this exam. And then you think, well, if I fail the exam, I'm probably going to end up failing the course. And if I fail the course, then I may have to leave school. And if I leave school, oh my gosh, my parents are going to be so upset. I'll probably never end up getting a good job and so on. Now, there's a good way of dealing with spiraling thoughts, which is realistic self-talk. There are two things you want to focus on. One is the likelihood that what you're anticipating is actually going to happen. So when there are a few questions in a row that you don't know on an exam, do you usually end up failing the test, or do you usually worry about failing the test, but actually the grade ends up being okay? And then also think about the consequences. All right, suppose the worst does happen and you fail the course. Does that mean that your path in life is really set? There's no way to bounce back from this? Now, some people try realistic self-talk and it doesn't work for them because they do it at the wrong time. People tend to do this when they're feeling anxious. In other words, in the middle of the test. But realistic self-talk sort of require, if you try and do it during the test, you're anxious, right? So this is requiring that you set aside that anxiety and then start thinking logically right in the middle of the test. That's just not going to happen. So instead, what you want to do is do the realistic self-talk like 2 or 3 days in advance of the test. Then during the test, when you start to feel that anxiety rise, that's when you can say, no, I went through this. And I remember concluding that the thoughts I'm having right now, these aren't really very realistic. Okay, the difference is that even though you can't think in the midst of anxiety, you can remember in the midst of anxiety. Memory is just not as demanding of your mental processes. So in the middle of the test, during test anxiety, you're still going to be able to remember that conclusion that you drew. This isn't a comprehensive solution to test anxiety. This is specific to spiraling thoughts. But if you have that issue, give it a try. Let me know in the comments if it works for you.